In the magnificent unfoldment of creation itself, where divine intelligence moves through immutable law, there exists no instrument more powerful, no force more immediate in its action than the human word. When the ancient texts proclaim that "in the beginning was the Word," they reveal not merely poetic imagery, but the fundamental mechanics of all manifestation. The same creative principle that spoke light into existence, that commanded order from chaos, that breathed life into form, operates through your vocal cords in every moment of your earthly experience. Your word is not casual conversation floating harmlessly into empty air. It is a divine decree, a spiritual command issued directly to the infinite intelligence that governs all supply, all opportunity, all demonstration of good. Every syllable that passes your lips carries the full creative authority of your divine nature, sending forth vibrations into the responsive substance of universal mind, which has no choice but to arrange circumstances, people, and events according to your spoken instruction. This is the great secret that transforms ordinary individuals into conscious co-creators with the infinite. Your word as your wand, and the universe is your obedient servant. Yet most people wield this magnificent power unconsciously, speaking limitation, fear, and scarcity, then wondering why their lives reflect these very conditions. They declare, "I cannot afford this," and command the universe to maintain their poverty. They announce money is so hard to come by and instruct infinite supply to withhold itself from their experience. The tragedy lies not in any lack of creative power, but in the unconscious misuse of this divine authority. Your subconscious mind, which controls the vast majority of your daily experiences and opportunities, accepts every word you speak as a direct command. It does not judge whether your declarations serve your highest good. It simply works tirelessly to create conditions that prove your statements true. When you consistently speak of financial struggle, your subconscious mind becomes a faithful servant of limitation, closing doors, blocking opportunities, and ensuring that your outer experience validates your inner dialogue. Understanding the creative authority of spoken word requires recognizing that two distinct realms govern your experience: the visible world of effects and the invisible world of causes. Most people live entirely focused on the world of form, reacting to circumstances and speaking from the limitations they observe with their physical senses. However, true creative mastery operates from the realm of cause, where your authoritative word becomes the seed that determines what manifests in the world of appearance. The spiritual laws that govern this creative process operate with mathematical precision. The law of vibration ensures that every word carries a specific frequency that attracts corresponding experiences into your life. Words of abundance vibrate at frequencies that magnetize prosperity, while words of lack vibrate at frequencies that repel financial good. The law of correspondence guarantees that your outer world must mirror your inner dialogue, creating circumstances that match your predominant speech patterns with unfailing accuracy. Your word operates through the principle of spiritual circulation, moving through the invisible channels that connect all minds and all supply. When you speak with the authority of one who knows their divine inheritance, you send forth messengers that travel upon unseen currents, attaching themselves to people, places, and circumstances capable of fulfilling their assignment. These living words do not return void. They return, bearing the harvest of whatever you have commanded them to seek and find. The transformation from unconscious to conscious creation begins with understanding that your financial condition reflects not external circumstances, but the consistent pattern of your spoken word. Your bank account is a perfect mirror of your word account. Your cash flow corresponds exactly to your speech flow. Every financial challenge you face can be traced back to words you have spoken that contradict abundance and affirm limitation. To wield this creative authority effectively, you must become vigilant over every declaration concerning money and prosperity. This means refusing to participate in conversations that rehearse lack, declining to voice complaints about financial difficulties, and choosing to speak increase over every area of your monetary experience. When friends gather to discuss their financial woes, you silently decree divine order now and speak only words that lift the conversation toward solution and supply. The practice of conscious speaking demands recognizing that there are no neutral words when it comes to your financial demonstration. Every statement either affirms your connection to infinite abundance or reinforces beliefs in scarcity and limitation. When you casually remark, "I am so broke," you issue a spiritual decree that reinforces poverty consciousness. When you declare, "I never have enough money," you program your reality to validate this limitation through the faithful operation of subconscious law. Your word becomes most powerful when spoken with genuine feeling and unwavering conviction. Empty repetition of positive statements while harboring inner doubt creates conflicted vibrations that neutralize each other. True creative authority emerges when your heart, mind, and voice align in unified declaration of your abundant good. The universe responds not to the volume of your voice, but to the authority in your tone, the quiet certainty that comes from knowing your divine inheritance and speaking from that consciousness. The invisible forces that control the flow of money and opportunity recognize authentic spiritual authority instantly. When you speak with the confidence of one who belongs in abundance, rather than as a trespasser hoping for crumbs, these forces arrange themselves to fulfill your declarations. Your authoritative word creates an invisible field of influence that causes banks to approve loans more readily, employers to offer better positions, and business opportunities to present themselves naturally. This creative power extends beyond personal manifestation to influence everyone within your sphere of consciousness. Your words carry the vibration of your inner conviction, and people unconsciously respond to this energy. When you consistently speak of your financial success with quiet certainty, others begin to treat you as successful. When you bless rather than curse your current supply, no matter how small, you create an atmosphere of increase that affects every transaction and interaction. The ancient practice of blessing reveals the circulation principle in action. Money is crystallized energy that responds to the vibration you direct toward it. When you bless every bill you pay, declaring it paid in full in your mind, you send that currency forth, charged with increase. When you bless your wallet or purse, declaring it a magic wallet of inexhaustible supply, you create a consciousness of abundance around your financial tools. Your creative authority also operates through the power of denial and affirmation, working in perfect harmony. Denial does not fight against reality. It simply refuses to accept false suggestions of limitation. When fear whispers, "You are at the mercy of circumstances," you calmly respond, "There is no truth in lack for me. Infinite supply is my present and permanent reality." The denial clears the mental atmosphere, while the affirmation installs the truth of your abundant nature. Forgiveness becomes essential to maintaining clear channels for your creative word. Resentment, criticism, and unforgiveness create knots in your spiritual circulation that block the flow of supply. When you decree, "I forgive everyone and everything of the past and present. I loose them and let them go. I am free and they are free to receive our abundant good," you dissolve these hidden obstacles and restore the free flow of prosperity through your consciousness. The timing of your demonstrations responds to your faith rather than your impatience. When you plant a seed in the earth, you do not dig it up daily to check its progress. You water it with confidence and wait for the appointed harvest. Similarly, when you speak your word with conviction, you must allow divine timing to bring forth the manifestation without anxious interference. Speak your decree once with authority, then protect it with gratitude and expectation, rather than desperate repetition. Your word gains additional power when paired with vivid mental imagery. The subconscious mind responds most readily to pictures accompanied by feeling. As you declare, "I am irresistibly magnetic to my rightful wealth," see yourself moving through your day with calm, confidence, attending to well-compensated work that brings you joy. Visualize your accounts marked with surplus, your bills stamped paid in full, your dwelling bright and perfectly maintained. The practice of conscious speaking must become as natural as breathing. Begin each day by establishing your consciousness of abundance through authoritative declaration. Throughout the day, when old thoughts of limitation attempt to surface, immediately replace them with your chosen words of increase. End each day by sealing your demonstrations with gratitude, knowing that perfect arrangements are being made while you rest. Guard against double-minded speech that splits your creative current. One moment declaring, "I'm richly supplied," and the next sighing, "I never have enough," creates confusion in the universal mind and delays your demonstration. Choose to serve truth rather than appearance, and when old phrases slip out, immediately correct them with your right word. Your creative authority reaches its highest expression when you speak not from need, but from the consciousness of your divine inheritance. As a child of infinite abundance, you possess the right to decree your good not through begging, but through claiming what already belongs to you by spiritual law. When you declare, "My supply is endless, inexhaustible, and flows to me now from the infinite source within," you speak not as one hoping for charity, but as one claiming their rightful inheritance. The law is exact and impersonal, responding to the vibration of your word, regardless of your current circumstances. Your financial transformation begins the moment you begin speaking consciously, choosing each word as carefully as a master craftsman selects tools. Through the consistent, conscious use of your creative authority, you step into your true power as a co-creator with infinite intelligence, commanding your good through the mighty instrument of your spoken word. The 5 pillars of this sacred teaching stand as luminous guideposts upon your path to financial freedom. The creative authority of spoken word, releasing all forms of resistance, claiming your divine inheritance, faith and expectation's magnetic forces. Consistent practice creates permanent transformation. Each represents a master key to unlock the treasury of infinite supply. Yet many discover that speaking right words alone does not guarantee swift demonstration. The missing element lies in understanding resistance, those invisible barriers within consciousness that act like dams in the mighty river of divine abundance, holding back the very good you seek to claim. Resistance is not an external force conspiring against your prosperity, nor is it evidence of divine disfavor or personal unworthiness. It is the accumulated debris of limiting thoughts, fearful emotions, and false beliefs that have settled in the channels of your consciousness, creating spiritual static that interferes with the clear transmission of your abundant good. Like sedimented in a once clear stream, these mental obstructions must be dissolved and cleared away before the pure waters of prosperity can flow freely into your experience. The fundamental truth governing all manifestation is this: your outer world reflects your inner state with mathematical precision. When internal resistance exists, external struggle must follow. When the channel of consciousness runs clear and unobstructed, abundance flows as naturally as water seeking its level. The universe knows no shortage, recognizes no limitation, and withholds no good thing from its beloved children. Every delay, every difficulty, every apparent lack in your financial experience can be traced back to some form of resistance operating within your own mental and emotional atmosphere. Fear stands as perhaps the most common and destructive form of resistance to financial flow. It operates like a spiritual repelling force, creating a magnetic field that pushes away the very prosperity you desire to attract. Fear of not having enough generates a consciousness of scarcity that commands the universe to validate your anxiety through continued lack. Fear of losing what you possess creates a hoarding mentality that stops the circulation necessary for increase. Fear of the responsibility that accompanies wealth causes unconscious self-sabotage of every opportunity for advancement. Consider the woman who declared abundance daily, yet clutched her purse tightly whenever bills arrived, her body tensing with each financial conversation. Her words spoke increase, but her fear-filled reactions commanded limitation. The moment she began blessing each expense, declaring, "This too is already provided for," her entire financial picture transformed. Fear had been the invisible hand holding her good at bay. To dissolve fear, you must recognize it as false evidence appearing real, shadows cast by ignorance of your true spiritual nature. Speak with authority. I cast the burden of all financial fear and limitation upon the Christ within me, and I go free to receive my abundant good. There is no power in fear, for perfect love casts out all fear, and I am surrounded by perfect love now. Feel the weight lifting from your consciousness as these words restore your natural confidence in infinite supply. Resentment toward others' financial success creates perhaps the most insidious form of resistance to your own prosperity. When you harbor secret criticism of wealthy individuals, when you judge material success as spiritually suspect, when you carry grudges against those who seem to have what you lack, you create invisible chains that bind you to the very limitations you despise. Resentment is a spiritual tax on your energy and supply, tying up your good with cords of bitterness that prevent its free circulation. The law of spiritual circulation operates with perfect justice. What you send out must return to you, multiplied. Send out resentment, and you receive circumstances that generate more resentment, including financial blockages that seem to validate your sense of unfair treatment. Send out blessing and appreciation, and you align yourself with the same prosperous current that flows through those you formerly envied. Transform every spark of envy into evidence of possibility. When you witness another's financial success, immediately declare, "What infinite intelligence does for one, it now does for me and more. I bless that prosperity and claim my own by divine right." In that instant, you step from the stream of lack into the river of abundance, for you have released the illusion of separation and affirmed the oneness of supply. Forgiveness becomes the master key that unlocks every door. Resentment has closed. This includes forgiving employers who underpaid you, clients who failed to honor agreements, family members who instilled limiting beliefs, and most crucially, yourself for any perceived financial failures. Speak with genuine conviction. I forgive everyone and everything, past and present. I loose them and let them go. I am free and they are free to receive our abundant good now. Often, the one most in need of your forgiveness is the self you have criticized for years. When you forgive yourself completely, your affairs brighten as if someone lifted a shade from your windows. Many of the most stubborn forms of resistance stem from beliefs inherited from family, culture, or religious misunderstanding. Statements absorbed in childhood. Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. We can't afford that. There's never enough to go around. Create invisible barriers to prosperity that operate below conscious awareness. These mental patterns function like spiritual computer programs, automatically generating thoughts, words, and actions that reinforce limitation regardless of your conscious desires for abundance. Religious conditioning often creates particularly deep resistance by teaching that poverty demonstrates spiritual virtue, while wealth indicates moral corruption. This false teaching directly contradicts the nature of infinite spirit, which desires to express through you as unlimited good in every form. The divine does not withhold any good thing from its children, including the material abundance that allows for greater service and more beautiful living. To clear inherited limitations, you must bring them into the light of spiritual understanding and consciously replace them with truth-based beliefs. When old phrases surface in your thinking, immediately counter them with spiritual fact. There is no truth in lack for me. I am heir to infinite abundance, and my supply flows freely from the inexhaustible source within. This practice gradually reprograms your subconscious mind, installing new patterns that support rather than sabotage your financial demonstrations. Doubt operates like spiritual quicksand, creating wavering vibrations that neutralize your creative power. When you declare abundance one moment and question its possibility the next, you send conflicted signals to the universe that cancel each other out. Doubt is the enemy of demonstration, creating a mental seesaw that prevents you from maintaining the steady conviction necessary for manifestation. The antidote to doubt lies in understanding that spiritual laws operate with the same reliability as physical laws. You do not doubt that released objects will fall or that planted seeds will grow under proper conditions. Similarly, you must anchor yourself in the absolute certainty that abundance flows to those who align their consciousness with prosperity principles. Declare with unwavering conviction, "My faith is steadfast and unmovable. I know that infinite supply is my present reality, and it manifests now in perfect ways." Perhaps the most heartbreaking form of resistance comes from deep-seated feelings of guilt and unworthiness that silently sabotage every attempt at financial improvement. If you unconsciously believe you do not deserve abundance, you will find ways to push it away or destroy it after it arrives. This resistance often stems from past mistakes, unresolved shame, or a general sense of not being good enough for prosperity. The spiritual truth is that your worthiness is inherent and unchangeable, based not on your actions or achievements, but on your divine nature as an individualized expression of infinite spirit. You are worthy because you exist, because you are beloved of the universe, because abundance is your birthright as a child of the Most High. Speak this truth until it penetrates every cell of your being. I am a beloved child of the universe, and prosperity is my divine birthright. I am worthy of all good, and I accept it now with an open and grateful heart. The need to control every detail of how your good arrives creates resistance to the infinite creativity of your source. When you insist that abundance must come through one particular person, job, or method, you limit the universe to your small human understanding and block countless channels that divine intelligence would gladly open. Control is resistance to trust, creating tension that impedes the natural flow of supply. Practice the art of spiritual surrender by declaring, "I loose the burden of how my good comes and trust the perfect plan of infinite wisdom. My supply flows to me through expected and unexpected channels, under grace and in perfect ways." This phrase, "under grace and in perfect ways," acts as a spiritual traffic director, ensuring that your good arrives through harmonious channels that harm none and bless all. Resistance often manifests in physical tension and environmental clutter that mirror internal congestion. Notice how your body responds when you think about money. Do you hold your breath, tense your shoulders, or clench your jaw? These physical patterns create energetic blocks that must be released through conscious relaxation and breathing. As you speak words of abundance, allow your body to soften into receptivity, breathing deeply and freely as you open yourself to receive. Your environment can store resistance in the form of unpaid bills scattered about, cluttered financial records, or postponed money-related tasks. Choose one area each day to clear with a decree. Divine order is now established here. As you organize your physical space, you simultaneously untangle knots in consciousness, creating room for fresh supply to enter your experience. Establish a daily practice of conscious resistance release through what may be called the hour of loosing. Set aside time each morning or evening to sit quietly and speak freedom over every area where you detect internal obstruction. Begin with a general release. I loose and let go all fear, doubt, resentment, and limitation concerning money and prosperity. I cast these burdens upon the Christ within me and go free to receive my abundant good. Then address specific areas. I loose and let go fear of bills and expenses. I loose and let go resentment toward those who seem to have more. I loose and let go guilt about past financial mistakes. I loose and let go the need to control how my good arrives. Follow each release with positive installation. I secure and establish faith, gratitude, forgiveness, and expectation of my abundant supply. As you consistently apply these principles of resistance release, you will notice profound shifts in both your inner experience and outer circumstances. Conversations about money become easier and more positive. Opportunities begin appearing as if from nowhere. People become more generous and helpful in your financial affairs. Bills arrive with less emotional charge, and solutions present themselves more readily. These changes indicate that your consciousness is clearing and your natural magnetism for abundance is being restored. Each act of release creates more space for good to enter. Each forgiveness opens another channel for supply to flow. Each dissolved fear removes another barrier to your prosperity. The practice of releasing resistance is not a one-time event, but an ongoing spiritual discipline that keeps your channels clear and your demonstrations flowing. Like a gardener who regularly tends the soil to ensure healthy growth, you must consistently tend the garden of your consciousness, removing the weeds of limitation and nurturing the seeds of abundance through the power of your spoken word and conscious choice. The magnificent architecture of spiritual prosperity rests upon 5 foundational pillars that support your journey to financial freedom. The creative authority of spoken word, releasing all forms of resistance, claiming your divine inheritance, faith and expectation as magnetic forces. Consistent practice creates permanent transformation. Among these sacred principles, the understanding and claiming of your divine inheritance stands as perhaps the most revolutionary concept, for it completely transforms your relationship with money from that of a beggar, pleading for scraps, to that of a rightful heir, claiming what has always belonged to you by divine decree. Your divine inheritance is not a reward to be earned through suffering or struggle, nor is it a prize awarded for exceptional virtue or spiritual achievement. It is your birthright, established in the invisible realm before you ever drew your first breath, sealed with the authority of infinite love, and guaranteed by the immutable laws that govern the universe itself. Just as a child born into a wealthy family possesses immediate claim to that family's resources, regardless of their current age or understanding, you possess immediate access to unlimited abundance regardless of your current circumstances or past experiences. This inheritance flows not from any limited human source, but from the inexhaustible treasury of universal mind, where supply is endless and scarcity is impossible. The same intelligence that maintains the perfect orbit of planets, that causes seeds to burst forth into magnificent trees, that orchestrates the intricate dance of seasons, operates through your consciousness to provide every form of good you could ever require. Money, in this cosmic context, is simply crystallized divine energy, a tangible expression of the limitless substance that fills all space and responds to your conscious direction. Understanding this foundation dissolves the fundamental error that keeps most people trapped in financial limitation, the belief that abundance must come from outside themselves. When you recognize that your true source is the infinite intelligence within you, you stop chasing limited channels and start opening yourself to the unlimited flow that seeks expression through your consciousness. Employers, clients, investments, and opportunities become servants of your supply rather than masters of your fate. The greatest revolution in your financial experience occurs when you shift from orphan consciousness to heir consciousness. Orphan consciousness operates from the belief that you are alone in the universe, cut off from reliable supply, dependent entirely upon your own limited efforts and in competition with others for scarce resources. This consciousness generates anxiety, desperation, and the exhausting struggle that characterizes most people's relationship with money. Heir consciousness recognizes your divine lineage and inherent connection to unlimited supply. As an heir, you understand that your good is guaranteed not by your performance, but by your identity. Your worth is inherent rather than earned, your supply is secured rather than uncertain, and your future is bright rather than threatening. This consciousness speaks with quiet authority, moves with confident expectation, and attracts abundance through the magnetic power of its elevated vibration. To dissolve orphan consciousness, you must consistently affirm your true spiritual identity. Begin each morning by declaring, "I am not an orphan struggling for survival in a hostile world. I am the beloved child of infinite abundance, heir to unlimited supply, rightful owner of prosperity beyond measure." Feel these words penetrating every cell of your being, transforming your energy from desperation to confidence, from fear to faith, from lack to abundance. Your inheritance rests upon the unshakable foundation of spiritual law, which operates with greater reliability than any human legal system. The law of divine sonship establishes your identity as a child of the Most High, while the law of inheritance guarantees your access to all that belongs to your divine parent. These laws cannot be repealed by economic conditions, negated by past mistakes, or revoked by human authority. The spiritual documents that secure your inheritance were signed in the eternal realm, sealed with divine love, and deposited in the treasury of universal mind for your perpetual benefit. No earthly court can contest this claim, no creditor can attach this supply, and no economic downturn can diminish this storehouse. Your inheritance is as secure as the laws that govern the movement of stars and the changing of seasons. When you present your spiritual credentials through conscious claiming, you are not begging for charity, but demanding the release of what already belongs to you. This is the language of spiritual law. I am heir to infinite abundance, and I claim my inheritance now. What is mine by divine right manifests quickly and in perfect ways. Such declarations carry the authority of one who knows their legal standing in the cosmic order. Several invisible barriers can obstruct the flow of your inheritance, and each must be consciously dissolved through right understanding and spiritual authority. The most pervasive barrier is the feeling of unworthiness that whispers, "Who am I to have such abundance?" This false humility mistakes spiritual poverty for virtue and directly contradicts the generous nature of your divine parent. Your worthiness is not based on your actions, achievements, or moral perfection. It is inherent in your very existence as an expression of divine love. The moment infinite intelligence individualized itself as you, it endowed you with the right to unlimited good. Declare with conviction, "I am worthy of abundance because I am a beloved creation of infinite love. My worthiness is inherent, unchangeable, and eternal." Fear represents another significant barrier, particularly the fear of responsibility that accompanies wealth. Some unconsciously sabotage their financial success because they fear the obligations or changes that prosperity might bring. Address this fear directly. I joyfully accept the responsibility of abundance, knowing that my wealth enables greater service and more beautiful expression of divine love in the world. My prosperity harms none and blesses all. False religious conditioning often creates barriers by teaching that poverty demonstrates spiritual virtue, while wealth indicates moral corruption. This teaching directly contradicts the nature of infinite spirit, which desires to express through you as unlimited good in every form. Declare, "True spirituality includes abundant material provision. I honor the divine by accepting and expressing prosperity in all its forms." Claiming your inheritance requires specific declarations spoken with the authority of one who knows their divine rights. These are not mere affirmations or hopeful wishes, but legal proclamations in the court of spiritual law. Your word becomes the key that unlocks the treasury and releases your good into manifestation. Begin with this foundational claim. I am the beloved child of infinite abundance, and prosperity is my divine birthright. I claim my inheritance now, and it manifests quickly under grace and in perfect ways. Speak these words with the quiet confidence of one who has just presented valid identifications at the bank and is waiting for the teller to count out their money. For specific financial needs, adapt your claim accordingly. The money for this expense is already provided from my divine inheritance. I claim it now, and it appears through the perfect channels chosen by infinite wisdom. This declaration acknowledges that your good exists in spiritual substance and commands its appearance in material form. When bills arrive, instead of experiencing anxiety, immediately claim, I see paid in full stamped upon this account. My inheritance covers every legitimate expense with surplus remaining for joy and circulation. This practice transforms your relationship with financial obligations from stress to opportunity for demonstration. Claiming your inheritance must evolve from occasional declarations to a constant consciousness that governs all your financial thoughts, words, and actions. This means consistently speaking, thinking, and acting from the awareness of your abundant supply, rather than from appearances of limitation. When shopping, browse with the confidence of one whose inheritance covers every legitimate desire. When opportunities arise, evaluate them from the perspective of unlimited resources rather than current bank balances. When others discuss financial difficulties, silently claim abundance for all, while refusing to participate in conversations that rehearse lack. Establish morning and evening practices that anchor your consciousness in inheritance awareness. Upon waking, declare, Today I move through my world as the heir to infinite abundance. Every door opens before me, every need is met from my inexhaustible supply, and every transaction blesses all involved. Before sleep, affirm, perfect arrangements are being made for tomorrow's abundant supply while I rest. I sleep in the peace of my secured inheritance. Understanding your inheritance includes recognizing that abundance is meant to circulate, rather than stagnate. As an heir to infinite supply, you can give generously without fear of depletion, knowing that your source is inexhaustible. This circulation creates a living current that draws more abundance into your experience while blessing everyone it touches. Bless every dollar that passes through your hands, whether going out or coming in. When paying bills, silently declare, I send this forth blessed with increase, and it returns to me multiplied under grace. When receiving money, affirm, I gratefully accept this gift from my infinite inheritance, and I use it wisely for the highest good of all. Create an environment that reflects your consciousness of inheritance. Clear clutter that argues against increase, mend what needs repair, and beautify your space as befits one who expects abundance. Each improvement declares to the universe, I am prepared for more good, and I welcome its swift arrival. With divine inheritance comes the sacred responsibility of stewardship. Your abundance is not meant solely for personal comfort, but as a means of greater service and more beautiful expression of divine love in the world. This consciousness ensures that your demonstrations arrive under grace and in perfect ways, harming none while blessing all. When you claim your inheritance with the understanding that you are a steward of divine resources, you align with the highest purposes of infinite spirit. Your wealth becomes a channel through which love expresses as material blessing, creating opportunities for others while establishing your own permanent prosperity. Maintain gratitude as the golden seal upon your claim. Gratitude spoken in advance of manifestation is faith in action, raising your vibration to the level where your good can find you swiftly. Declare daily, I give thanks that my divine inheritance is released to me now. The treasuries of heaven are open, and my supply appears quickly in perfect ways. Your inheritance claim gains power through the authority with which you speak it. This authority comes not from arrogance, but from quiet certainty in your divine identity and spiritual rights. When you declare your inheritance, speak as one accustomed to good service, as one whose word carries weight in the cosmic order. Practice this daily decree with unwavering conviction. I now draw from the abundance of the spheres my immediate and endless supply. All that is mine by divine right is released to me now, in perfect ways. My paths are paved with good. My steps are ordered into rich opportunities. What is mine appears without delay. Let these words carry the vibration of absolute certainty, knowing that the universe must respond to your authoritative command. The transformation from financial struggle to abundant ease begins the moment you truly comprehend and claim your divine inheritance. You are not a victim of circumstances, but a conscious heir to unlimited good. Your prosperity is not dependent upon external conditions, but upon your recognition of internal riches. Through the consistent claiming of your birthright, you step into the full expression of your abundant nature, proving that when you speak with the authority of an heir, money cannot resist responding to your rightful claim. The sacred journey toward financial abundance rests upon 5 immutable pillars that form the complete architecture of prosperity consciousness: the creative authority of spoken word, releasing all forms of resistance, claiming your divine inheritance, faith and expectation as magnetic forces. Consistent practice creates permanent transformation. Among these divine principles, the understanding of faith and expectation as magnetic forces reveals the most profound secret of manifestation, that these seemingly invisible qualities operate as actual spiritual electromagnets, drawing your good to you with irresistible power when properly understood and consistently applied. Faith and expectation are not merely positive emotions, hopeful attitudes, or wishful thinking, but actual forces operating in the invisible realm according to precise spiritual laws. Just as iron filings align themselves with a magnetic field without conscious effort, money and opportunities arrange themselves according to the magnetic field created by your consciousness. When you maintain unwavering faith in your abundant supply combined with confident expectation of its manifestation, you become a living magnet that draws prosperity from seen and unseen sources with mathematical certainty. This magnetic power operates through the fundamental law of vibration, which governs all manifestation in the physical realm. Every thought, feeling, and belief emits a specific vibrational frequency that attracts corresponding experiences into your life. Faith vibrates at the frequency of absolute certainty, while expectation vibrates at the frequency of joyful anticipation. Together, they create a harmonic resonance that acts like a spiritual homing beacon for your abundant good, guiding it swiftly and surely into your experience through channels you may never have imagined. Consider the elegant simplicity of a magnet, which does not chase iron filings or plead with them to come closer. The magnet simply maintains its magnetic nature, and metal must respond to its inherent force. Similarly, when your consciousness becomes saturated with genuine faith and confident expectation concerning your financial good, you become an irresistible magnet for prosperity. Money, opportunities, ideal clients, and perfect solutions are drawn to you with undeniable force, because you have aligned your inner vibration with the very essence of abundance. Understanding the profound difference between hope and faith forms the foundation of all successful demonstration. Hope glances toward a distant star and sighs, "I wish it were so." Faith stands under the midday sun and declares with quiet authority, "I know it is so." Hope waits to see, before believing. Faith sees with spiritual vision and therefore creates what it perceives. Hope operates from the consciousness of lack, always reaching toward something absent, while faith operates from the consciousness of possession, claiming what already exists in divine mind. Your word spoken without genuine faith is merely sound waves dissipating into empty air, lacking the spiritual substance necessary to command manifestation. Faith transforms your declarations into living forces that move through the invisible realm, rearranging circumstances and attracting resources according to your spoken decree. When you declare, "My supply is endless and flows to me now," with authentic faith, you are not expressing a hopeful wish, but stating a spiritual fact that the universe must honor through its faithful operation of divine law. True spiritual faith emerges not from emotional enthusiasm that fluctuates with circumstances, but from understanding the immutable laws that govern manifestation. When you comprehend that your word spoken in faith sets invisible forces into motion, that your declarations create actual changes in the spiritual substance from which all things are formed, that the universe must respond to your conscious direction, this understanding becomes the bedrock of unshakable faith that cannot be moved by temporary appearances or delayed demonstrations. Expectation operates as the magnetic complement to faith, creating the emotional atmosphere that draws your demonstrations into swift manifestation. While faith provides the knowing, expectation supplies the feeling that accelerates the creative process. Expectation is gratitude in advance, joy before the gift arrives, celebration before the victory appears. It is the inner smile that says with complete confidence, "I know my good is on its way." This quality of expectation must be carefully distinguished from anxiety disguised as anticipation. True expectation feels peaceful, joyful, and certain, like a child on Christmas morning who knows wonderful gifts await discovery. Anxious anticipation feels tense, worried, and uncertain, constantly watching for signs while fearing disappointment. The universe responds to the vibration behind your expectation, blessing peace and confidence while withholding from anxiety and doubt. Expectation creates what may be understood as a spiritual vacuum in consciousness, a prepared space designed to receive your good. Just as nature abhors a physical vacuum and rushes to fill it, the universe responds to the vacuum of expectation by rushing to fill it with corresponding demonstrations. When you expect abundance with calm certainty, you create a magnetic pull that draws money, opportunities, and resources toward you through channels that often surprise and delight you. Your consciousness operates like a radio receiver that must be tuned to the precise frequency of your desired demonstration. Faith provides the power that energizes your receiver, while expectation determines the exact station to which you are tuned. When both are properly calibrated and maintained, you receive clear transmission from the universal mind, which broadcasts unlimited abundance on every frequency. Doubt, fear, and worry create static interference that blocks or distorts this transmission, preventing clear reception of your good. When faith and expectation combine harmoniously in your consciousness, they create an invisible magnetic field that extends far beyond your physical body and influences everyone and everything within your sphere of awareness. This field operates like a spiritual broadcasting station, continuously transmitting the signal of your inner conviction to the responsive intelligence that governs all supply and opportunity. People unconsciously respond to this magnetic field by treating you according to the vibration you consistently project. When your consciousness radiates unwavering faith in your abundant supply, others naturally regard you as successful and offer opportunities accordingly. When your expectation vibrates with confident prosperity, people feel drawn to include you in profitable ventures and beneficial arrangements. Your magnetic field literally rearranges the human elements in your environment to support your financial demonstrations. This principle explains why some individuals seem to attract money and opportunities effortlessly, while others struggle despite working harder or possessing greater technical skills. The difference lies not in external circumstances or personal qualifications, but in the magnetic quality of their consciousness. Those who maintain unwavering faith and joyful expectation create irresistible attraction, while those who harbor doubt and fear create unconscious repulsion that pushes their good away, regardless of their conscious desires. The influence of your magnetic field extends to what may be called a contagion of confidence that benefits everyone within your sphere of consciousness. When you consistently radiate faith in infinite supply, you help others remember their own abundant nature. When your expectation vibrates with joyful certainty, you inspire similar confidence in those around you. This creates expanding circles of prosperity consciousness that multiply your own demonstrations while blessing all concerned. Faith and expectation operate according to what may be understood as the acceleration principle. The more genuine your conviction, the faster your demonstrations appear in physical form. When faith becomes absolute and expectation transforms into certain knowing, the time between declaration and manifestation compresses dramatically. Some demonstrations appear so quickly they seem miraculous, though they simply represent spiritual law operating at maximum efficiency without internal interference. This acceleration occurs because unwavering faith eliminates the internal resistance that normally delays manifestation. When your consciousness contains no contradiction, when your words carry no doubt, when your expectation holds no fear, you create perfect conditions for instantaneous demonstration. The universe responds to clarity with clarity, to certainty with certainty, to faith with faithful fulfillment according to the exact measure of your conviction. Double-mindedness creates the greatest obstacle to swift demonstration. One moment you decree, "I am richly supplied," and the next you sigh, "It never works out for me." Such wavering sends conflicted signals to the obedient substance of the universe, producing fits and starts, near misses, and partial demonstrations. The remedy lies in single-eyed vision. Choose your line of truth and hold it steadfastly, regardless of shifting appearances in the world of form. Living in the consciousness of faith and expectation requires establishing daily rhythms that maintain your magnetic vibration regardless of external circumstances. This means beginning each day by consciously aligning your thoughts and feelings with abundance before engaging with the world's demands, and maintaining inner confidence during challenging moments by returning to your foundational knowing of infinite supply. Upon waking, before checking messages or engaging with external demands, establish your consciousness of abundance through authoritative declaration. Today brings perfect opportunities for my financial increase. I move through my world with confident expectation, and my good appears in wonderful ways. Feel these words resonating through your entire being, establishing the magnetic tone that will attract corresponding experiences throughout your day. Preparation serves as concrete proof of expectation, demonstrating to the universe that you are genuinely ready to receive your good. If you expect increased business, prepare your accounts, update your rate structure, organize your calendar. If you expect a new position, refresh your portfolio, bless your wardrobe, clear your workspace. If you expect funds, establish proper containers, savings accounts, business ledgers, organized financial records, so the substance has clear channels through which to flow. Giving thanks before the demonstration appears stamps your request for rush delivery in the cosmic postal system. Speak with calm assurance. I give thanks that my perfect supply is now released to me from the inexhaustible source within. This advanced gratitude is not pretended joy, but spiritual acknowledgement of an already accomplished fact in the invisible realm. The thanksgiving goes forth as a forerunner, setting in order the persons, places, and events that must assemble for your good to appear. Your spoken word becomes exponentially more powerful when infused with genuine faith and expectation. Practice speaking your financial affirmations with the tone of one who has just received wonderful news and is sharing it with a trusted friend. My supply is endless and flows to me now should carry the same vibration as I just received the most wonderful opportunity. This quality of voice creates resonance with the frequency of manifestation, accelerating your demonstrations beyond normal time constraints. Before sleep, seal your day's demonstrations and prepare for tomorrow's abundance. Perfect arrangements are being made for my continued prosperity while I rest. I sleep in faith and wake in expectation of abundant good. This consciousness programs your subconscious mind to work on your behalf throughout the night, often producing breakthrough ideas or arranging synchronistic meetings for the following day. True mastery of faith and expectation extends beyond formal practice sessions to encompass your entire approach to daily living. This means consistently carrying yourself as one whose supply is assured, speaking as one who expects favorable outcomes, and acting as one who belongs in abundance rather than as a trespasser hoping for crumbs. When opportunities arise, evaluate them from the perspective of unlimited resources rather than current bank balances. When others discuss financial difficulties, silently claim abundance for all while refusing to participate in conversations that rehearse lack. When bills arrive, bless them as evidence that you are trusted with circulation, declaring them paid in full in divine mind while expecting the means to flow through perfect channels. The acting as if principle serves as a powerful accelerator of both faith and expectation. When you live, speak, and move as if your desired financial good has already manifested, you send an incredibly powerful signal to the universe. This is not pretense or denial, but conscious alignment of your entire being, mind, body, and spirit, with the vibration of your accomplished desire. Guard against the influence of those who speak limitation and expect scarcity. Your magnetic field can be disrupted by prolonged exposure to negative financial conversations, pessimistic economic predictions, or the complaints of those who have not yet discovered their divine inheritance. Choose your mental diet as carefully as your physical nutrition, feeding your consciousness with thoughts, words, and associations that strengthen rather than weaken your magnetic attraction. When fear attempts to whisper its false prophecies or doubt tries to argue with your declarations, immediately counter with spiritual authority. I cast the burden of this concern upon the Christ within, and I go free. My faith is steadfast and unmovable. I know that infinite supply is my present reality, and it manifests now in perfect ways. Feel the weight shifting from your shoulders as you return the case to the only court that decides rightly, the court of divine law. As you consistently apply these principles, maintaining unwavering faith while living in joyful expectation, you develop what may be called an irresistible magnetic presence. Money cannot resist you because you have aligned your consciousness with the very source from which all money flows. Opportunities cannot avoid you because you vibrate at the frequency that attracts perfect openings. People cannot help but respond favorably to you because your magnetic field radiates the confidence and joy that everyone unconsciously seeks. This transformation occurs not through struggle or strain, but through the consistent choice to believe what divine mind knows rather than what human sense reports. When you maintain this elevated consciousness with patience and persistence, you become a living demonstration of the truth that faith and expectation, properly understood and consistently applied, create magnetic forces that draw unlimited good from the invisible realm into joyful manifestation in your abundant life. The sacred architecture of financial mastery stands complete upon 5 divine pillars that form the unshakable foundation of prosperity consciousness, the creative authority of spoken word, releasing all forms of resistance, claiming your divine inheritance, faith and expectation as magnetic forces. Consistent practice creates permanent transformation. This final pillar serves as both the capstone and the cornerstone of all spiritual demonstration, for without consistent practice, the most profound insights remain dormant seeds that never break through the soil of consciousness to bear abundant fruit in the garden of your life. Your transformation operates according to the immutable law of repetition, which governs the formation of every habit, every neural pathway, and every pattern of manifestation in your experience. The subconscious mind, that fertile field where the seeds of your spoken words take root, responds not to occasional enthusiasm, but to steady, rhythmic impression. Like water wearing away the hardest stone through persistent contact, your daily spiritual practice gradually dissolves the bedrock of limitation and carves new channels through which abundance flows with increasing ease and frequency. Modern science confirms what spiritual masters have always known. Repetitive thoughts and emotions create measurable changes in brain chemistry and neural connections, literally rewiring your consciousness for whatever patterns you practice most consistently. When you speak words of abundance daily, you're not merely reciting hopeful phrases, but actually reconstructing the biological foundation of your prosperity consciousness. Each declaration of "My supply is endless and flows to me now" creates new neural pathways that support abundance while weakening the old circuits that maintained scarcity. Consider the magnificent transformation of a river, which begins as scattered droplets, finding various paths downhill. Initially, each drop might take a different route, but through consistent flow, the most efficient channel deepens until it becomes the dominant pathway through which all water naturally flows. Your financial experiences follow this same principle. Scattered at first through random thoughts and inconsistent practices, but through deliberate repetition of prosperity principles, you create deep channels in consciousness that naturally attract and direct abundant flow. Permanent transformation requires establishing what may be understood as the sacred architecture of daily practice. Structured routines that ensure your consciousness remains aligned with abundance regardless of external circumstances or emotional fluctuations. This architecture must be both flexible enough to accommodate life's varying demands and solid enough to maintain its essential form through all seasons of experience. Morning consciousness. Establishment. Begin each day as a master artisan enters the studio, deliberate, unhurried, intent on excellence. Before consulting the world's demands, establish your inner government through authoritative decree. Upon waking, before checking messages or engaging external stimuli, speak with the authority of one who knows their divine inheritance. I am the beloved child of infinite abundance, and today brings perfect opportunities for my financial increase. My supply is endless, inexhaustible, and flows to me now from the infinite source within. I expect rich, right results today, under grace and in perfect ways. Feel these words penetrating every cell of your being, establishing the magnetic keynote that will attract harmonious opportunities throughout your day. Let your body relax into the truth of these declarations, breathing as one who is completely provided for. This morning practice serves as the spiritual tuning fork that sets the vibrational tone for your entire day, ensuring that you move through all activities from abundance consciousness rather than lack consciousness. Midday realignment. Practice. Life's appearances will sometimes attempt to argue with your morning decree. A bill may arrive, an unexpected expense may present itself, or conversations may drift toward limitation. Here, the practitioner proves mastery through immediate realignment. Withdraw your attention from the picture and place it upon principle. Speak the releasing formula that never fails. I cast the burden of this concern upon the Christ within me, and I go free to receive my abundant good. Then follow with a crisp command. Divine order is established here. My perfect supply appears swiftly through expected and unexpected channels. Establish sacred appointments with your good by creating brief prosperity, pauses at regular intervals. Close your eyes, smile inwardly, and decree, I now draw from the abundance of the spheres my immediate and endless supply. The continuity of these gentle calls keeps your channel open and your awareness keen, maintaining the current of abundance regardless of external fluctuations. Evening, sealing and gratitude. Evening represents the hour of harvest and sealing. Review your day not for fault-finding but for finding favor. Give thanks, specifically for every evidence of circulation, no matter how small, a discount received, a pleasant introduction, a bright idea, a paid invoice, an error averted. Gratitude spoken in detail multiplies details for which to be grateful. Stamp each open account in mind with paid in full. Affirm that perfect arrangements are being made while you sleep. While I rest, the way opens, the channels widen, and tomorrow rises to meet me with abundant good. Your consistent spiritual practice operates according to the same principle as compound interest in the financial realm. Small, regular investments accumulate exponentially over time, creating results far beyond what the initial deposits might suggest. Each day, you practice abundance consciousness. You make deposits into your spiritual account that earn interest in the form of increased faith, stronger magnetic attraction, and more frequent demonstrations. In the early stages, your spiritual investments might produce modest returns. A parking space appears when needed, a small unexpected check arrives, a friend offers assistance. These minor demonstrations represent the initial interest on your spiritual deposits, indicating that your practice is taking root and beginning to produce tangible results. As you maintain consistent practice over weeks and months, the compound effect accelerates. Larger opportunities present themselves, significant financial improvements manifest, and your relationship with money transforms from stress to ease. The most dramatic transformations often occur after reaching what may be called the compound interest breakthrough point, when accumulated spiritual practice reaches critical mass and produces quantum leaps in financial experience. Suddenly, the perfect opportunity appears, the ideal client calls, needed funds manifest from unexpected sources. These breakthrough moments represent not random luck, but the natural harvest of seeds planted through consistent daily practice. Understanding the natural seasons of spiritual development prevents discouragement during periods when external results seem slow to appear. Like a wise gardener who plants seeds in spring and tends them through summer without becoming discouraged by the absence of immediate harvest, you must maintain consistent practice through all phases of development, trusting the invisible process that eventually produces abundant fruit. The spring season involves planting new patterns of thought and speech, while clearing away the debris of old, limiting beliefs. During this phase, you may feel somewhat artificial as you consciously choose abundance words over limitation words, but this conscious effort establishes new grooves in consciousness. Maintain your practice faithfully, knowing that every positive declaration is a seed that will eventually produce harvest. The summer season represents the growing time when new patterns begin to feel more natural, but external results may still seem sporadic. This season requires the greatest faith, as you must continue tending your spiritual garden through consistent practice while trusting in visible growth occurring beneath the surface. Many abandon their practice during this season because they cannot yet see full results, but those who persist through summer reap the abundant harvest of autumn. The autumn season brings the visible harvest of consistent spiritual practice when opportunities multiply, demonstrations accelerate, and your financial situation reflects the abundance consciousness you have been cultivating. This season rewards faithful practice with tangible proof that spiritual principles produce practical results when applied with consistency and conviction. The winter season represents periods of apparent dormancy, when external progress seems to pause while deeper transformation occurs at the root level of consciousness. During these seasons, maintain your practice with even greater dedication, knowing that the most profound changes often occur during quiet periods that prepare you for even greater demonstrations in the coming spring. Consistent practice includes rigorous discipline of your mouth, for your word is your wand. Adopt a mental diet that refuses the flavor of lack. Eliminate complaining, cheap humor at your own expense, and phrases that prophesy shortage. If a limiting statement slips out unaware, correct it immediately as a gardener plucks a weed the instant it appears. Cancel, correct, and continue by saying aloud, "I cancel that false statement. Only divine abundance speaks through me. I am richly supplied now." This swift self-correction prevents the seed of scarcity from rooting in subconscious soil. Over days and weeks, you will notice your language evolving effortlessly toward increase, as natural as a tree reaching toward light. Your consistent vigilance over speech patterns gradually rewrites the automatic responses of your subconscious mind, installing new default settings that support rather than sabotage your financial demonstrations. Consistency extends beyond mental and verbal practices to include physical preparation that demonstrates your expectation of increased good. Expecting abundance while maintaining shabby channels creates dissonance between your inner conviction and outer expression. Prepare your vessels for the good you claim. Clean and bless your wallet or purse, naming it a magic wallet of inexhaustible supply. Bring your financial records into order so money finds clear pathways to arrive and remain. Open accounts that represent your expansion. Clarify your rates, proposals, and offerings so opportunity knows precisely how to bless you. Replace the broken, mend the frayed, beautify what you touch. Each act proclaims to the universe, "I am ready for more and I care for what is entrusted to me." Your environment becomes a physical affirmation of your prosperity consciousness, supporting your inner work with outer evidence of your abundant expectations. Circulation forms the heartbeat of prosperity, and consistency regulates this vital pulse. Give in proportion to your guidance and faith, not your fear. Send money forth blessed with increase, for money is a marvelous servant that returns gladly to a cheerful master. Whisper as you pay, "I send you forth to bless and return multiplied, under grace and in perfect ways." Let your giving be joyous and exact, understanding that circulation keeps the current alive and your shorelines rich with returning good. Establish the sacred practice of keeping a prosperity book, a written record where you list every evidence of supply, no matter how small. Train your eyes to catch the minor proofs, for they are scouts of larger caravans approaching. A refund check for a few dollars, an unexpected meal, a chance meeting leading to a timely introduction, a discount that saves expense, all represent supply in action, demonstrations that your practice is producing results. Reading these records on days when appearances argue otherwise steadies the mind and stirs the heart back to certainty. Memory underwrites faith when sight is tempted to wander from truth. Each recorded demonstration becomes a building block in your tower of confidence, proof that spiritual law operates faithfully in your affairs when you provide the consistent cooperation of aligned consciousness. Your consistent practice creates expanding circles of influence that extend far beyond your personal financial experience. As your consciousness becomes saturated with abundance through daily spiritual discipline, you begin affecting everyone within your sphere of awareness, helping them remember their own abundant nature through the contagion of your elevated vibration. Family members often report improved financial conditions after someone in their household begins consistent abundance practice. Business associates notice increased opportunities and smoother transactions when working with someone who maintains prosperity. Consciousness, even casual acquaintances benefit from exposure to your transformed energy field, finding themselves more optimistic about their own financial possibilities after spending time in your presence. This ripple effect operates through the fundamental interconnectedness of all consciousness. When you consistently practice abundance principles, you add your voice to the cosmic chorus of prosperity, strengthening the overall vibration of abundance available to everyone. Your personal transformation becomes a gift to the collective consciousness, contributing to the elevation of humanity's relationship with material supply. The path of consistent spiritual practice presents several predictable challenges that must be understood and overcome to achieve permanent transformation. Practice fatigue represents the tendency to become casual or mechanical in your daily spiritual disciplines as initial enthusiasm wanes. Combat this by varying your practice methods while maintaining their essential elements. Introducing new affirmations, exploring different visualization techniques, or changing the timing of your spiritual exercises. Evidence dependency creates the temptation to evaluate your practice based on immediate external results, rather than trusting the invisible process of consciousness transformation. Remember that spiritual practice works from the inside out, first establishing new patterns in consciousness that eventually manifest as changed conditions in the outer world. Maintain your practice based on its inherent value, rather than demanding immediate proof of its effectiveness. Social pressure emerges from the subtle or overt resistance of others who may not understand or support your commitment to spiritual practice. Some people feel threatened by your dedication to growth and may attempt to discourage your efforts through skepticism, ridicule, or arguments for being realistic. Protect your practice by surrounding yourself with supportive influences, while maintaining compassion for those who have not yet discovered their own abundant nature. Advanced practitioners understand that consistent practice eventually creates such powerful spiritual momentum that abundance consciousness becomes self-sustaining. At this level of mastery, speaking prosperity feels as natural as breathing. Expecting good becomes automatic, and attracting opportunities requires no conscious effort because your entire being vibrates at the frequency of unlimited supply. This mastery develops through practice layers, the gradual addition of more sophisticated spiritual disciplines to your foundational routine. Begin with basic morning and evening declarations, then add midday consciousness checks, then incorporate blessing practices, then include visualization exercises, then develop advanced claiming techniques. Each layer builds upon the previous foundation, creating increasingly powerful spiritual momentum that eventually becomes unstoppable. The ultimate goal of consistent practice is not the mechanical repetition of spiritual exercises, but the complete transformation of your consciousness from limitation to abundance, from fear to faith, from struggle to ease. When this transformation becomes complete, you discover that abundance flows to you naturally because you have become a perfect channel for the expression of infinite supply. Above all, understand that consistent practice is an identity, not a chore. You are the one who remembers, who speaks the word, who forgives, who prepares, who praises, who expects. You are the faithful gardener of thought, the careful steward of circulation, the calm claimant of divine right. Through the patient, persistent application of these principles day after day, choice by choice, word by word, you create not merely temporary improvement, but permanent transformation that establishes you forever in the consciousness of your abundant inheritance, where money cannot resist responding to your consistent demonstration of prosperity. Consciousness lived as a way of being, the magnificent temple of prosperity. Consciousness stands complete upon 6 sacred pillars that form the unshakable foundation of financial mastery. The creative authority of spoken word, releasing all forms of resistance, claiming your divine inheritance. Faith and expectation as magnetic forces. Consistent practice creates permanent transformation, divine guidance, and perfect timing. Orchestrate your supply. This final pillar reveals perhaps the most liberating truth of all spiritual demonstration, that while you are indeed the conscious director of your financial destiny through your spoken word and elevated consciousness, The infinite intelligence of the universe serves as your perfect partner, orchestrating the precise timing, methods, and channels through which your abundant good manifests with mathematical precision and divine elegance. Understanding divine guidance requires recognizing the sacred partnership that exists between your conscious intention and the infinite wisdom that governs all supply. Your role involves clearly stating your desires, maintaining unwavering faith in their fulfillment, and taking the inspired actions that present themselves. The universe's role encompasses orchestrating the countless details, arranging the perfect timing, and opening the channels through which your good can flow most harmoniously and completely. This partnership operates through what may be understood as the principle of co-creation, where human consciousness provides the direction while divine intelligence supplies the method. When you declare, "My supply is endless and flows to me now," you establish the intention and open the channel. Universal mind immediately begins arranging circumstances, inspiring ideas in the minds of others, and creating the synchronistic events that will bring your declaration into physical manifestation through the most perfect means possible. The tragedy of most financial struggle lies not in any lack of divine willingness to supply, but in human interference with the delicate process of divine orchestration. When you insist that your good must come through one particular person, job, or method, you limit infinite intelligence to your finite understanding, effectively blocking countless other channels through which abundance seeks to reach you. The remedy lies in learning to distinguish between your responsibility, which is to claim, believe, and prepare, and the universe's responsibility, which is to deliver through the perfect means at the perfect time. Divine guidance speaks through multiple channels, each requiring cultivation of spiritual sensitivity to receive clearly. The most immediate channel operates through your intuitive faculty, that inner knowing that whispers the next right step, suggests the perfect timing for action, or warns against premature movement. This inner voice rarely shouts. It speaks in gentle impressions, sudden insights, or the quiet certainty that accompanies right decisions. Developing sensitivity to divine guidance requires establishing regular periods of inner listening where the mind becomes still enough to receive subtle spiritual impressions. Begin each day with this sacred practice. Sit quietly for a few moments, breathe deeply, and speak this invitation. Infinite Spirit, reveal to me today the perfect steps for my financial increase. I am listening, and I will obey. Then remain receptive, noting any ideas, images, or gentle urges that arise. These impressions, however simple they may seem, often contain the seeds of significant demonstrations when followed with faith and promptness. The universe also communicates through external synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that provide guidance, confirmation, or redirection. A chance conversation that mentions exactly the opportunity you need, an article that appears at the perfect moment with crucial information, a delayed appointment that leads to an unexpected encounter. These are not random events but divine messengers carrying instructions for your next steps. Train yourself to recognize these synchronicities by maintaining an attitude of expectant awareness throughout your day. One of the most challenging aspects of spiritual demonstration involves trusting divine timing when human impatience demands immediate results. Perfect timing operates according to the principle of greatest good for all concerned, ensuring that your manifestation arrives when conditions have been optimally arranged for its most complete and harmonious expression. This divine scheduling often differs from human preferences, but invariably produces superior results when trusted completely. Understanding perfect timing requires recognizing that the universe operates like a master conductor, orchestrating a symphony of infinite complexity. Your individual demonstration represents just one instrument in a vast cosmic composition that includes the needs, lessons, and demonstrations of countless others. When your good appears to be delayed, it is often because divine intelligence is making perfect arrangements that will benefit not only you, but everyone involved in your demonstration. Impatience creates resistance to perfect timing by generating anxiety, doubt, and the temptation to force premature action. When you find yourself becoming restless about the timing of your demonstration, immediately speak this releasing formula. I cast the burden of timing upon the Christ within me, and I go free. Divine timing is always perfect, and my good appears at the appointed hour in the appointed way. Feel the tension dissolving as you return responsibility for timing to the infinite intelligence that never makes mistakes. The principle of perfect timing also operates through what may be called divine delays, apparent setbacks that redirect you toward greater good than you originally envisioned. A job opportunity that falls through may be clearing the way for a better position. A business deal that collapses may be protecting you from unfavorable terms while opening space for more profitable arrangements. When delays occur, immediately declare, "This delay is divine protection, redirecting me toward my perfect good. I bless this apparent setback and expect something better to manifest quickly." While divine intelligence orchestrates the overall plan, your demonstrations manifest through specific actions taken at divinely appointed moments. Right action differs from random activity in that it flows from inner guidance rather than external pressure, carries a sense of ease rather than strain, and produces results far beyond what the action itself might logically generate. Learning to distinguish between inspired action and ego-driven effort becomes crucial for efficient demonstration. Inspired action often appears surprisingly simple, even anticlimactic, compared to the elaborate schemes the reasoning mind might devise. Divine guidance might instruct you to make one phone call, send a brief email, or attend a particular event. Actions that seem insignificant but prove to be precisely the keys needed to unlock major opportunities. The power lies not in the magnitude of the action, but in its divine timing and spiritual authorization. Establish the practice of checking with inner guidance before taking any significant financial action. Before making business decisions, signing contracts, or pursuing opportunities, pause and ask within, "Is this mine to do? Is this the right time? Will this serve the highest good of all concerned?" Wait for the inner response, which typically comes as a sense of peace and rightness for appropriate actions, or unease and contraction for premature or misdirected efforts. When guidance indicates action, move promptly without second-guessing or delay. Hesitation, after receiving clear inner direction, creates confusion in the spiritual atmosphere and may cause opportunities to shift to others who respond more quickly. Speak this decree before taking inspired action. I move now in divine order, at divine speed, toward divine results. My actions are blessed and prospered, and they open the way for my abundant good. Perhaps the most advanced aspect of working with divine guidance involves learning the art of spiritual surrender, releasing attachment to specific methods while maintaining unwavering faith in the desired outcome. This surrender does not represent passive resignation, but active cooperation with infinite intelligence, recognizing that the universe possesses resources, connections, and methods far beyond human imagination. Spiritual surrender begins with the understanding that your good exists as accomplished fact in divine mind and must manifest in the physical realm according to spiritual law. Your role involves claiming this good through authoritative declaration, maintaining consciousness of its reality through faith and expectation, and following the guidance that leads to its manifestation. The universe's role encompasses selecting the perfect channels, arranging optimal timing, and coordinating all necessary elements for complete demonstration. Practice surrender through this powerful declaration. I know what I want, but I release all attachment to how it comes. Infinite Spirit, manifest my good through the perfect channels, at the perfect time, in the perfect way. I trust your wisdom completely and follow your guidance joyfully. This statement establishes clear intention while granting divine intelligence complete freedom to work through the most efficient and harmonious means available. Living in alignment with divine guidance requires establishing daily practices that maintain your sensitivity to spiritual direction while demonstrating your willingness to cooperate with universal intelligence. These practices create a lifestyle of guided living where financial decisions flow from spiritual wisdom rather than human anxiety or limitation. Begin each day with a brief period of inner listening designed to receive guidance for the day ahead. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, and speak this invitation. Divine Intelligence, I place this day in your hands. Show me the steps that will advance my financial good. I am listening and ready to obey. Remain receptive for several minutes, noting any impressions, ideas, or gentle urges that arise. Write down what you receive, however simple it may seem, and commit to following through during the day. Throughout the day, when facing decisions or opportunities, ask these 3 questions and wait for inner guidance. Is this mine to do? Is this the right time? Will this serve everyone's highest good? Trust the immediate impression you receive. Peace and expansion for right actions, unease or contraction for wrong timing or misdirection. This practice prevents wasted effort on unsuitable opportunities while ensuring you recognize and act upon divinely appointed openings. Before sleep, review the day's events for evidence of divine guidance and orchestration. Notice synchronicities, helpful encounters, timely information, or obstacles that proved beneficial. Give thanks for the guidance received and the protection provided. Then speak this preparation for tomorrow. Perfect arrangements are being made while I rest. Tomorrow brings divinely orchestrated opportunities for my financial increase. I wake ready to recognize and follow divine guidance. Create a simple daily structure for receiving and following guidance regarding your financial affairs. Each morning ask, what is the most prosperous action I can take today? Write down the first clear impression you receive and complete that action before attending to routine tasks. This practice ensures that divinely guided steps receive priority over merely urgent activities, often producing remarkable results from seemingly simple actions. As you consistently apply these principles, you will begin noticing the elegant orchestration that operates behind your financial experiences. Opportunities will appear at precisely the right moments. Needed resources will manifest through unexpected channels. Delays that initially seemed problematic will prove to have protected you from inferior outcomes while positioning you for superior demonstrations. This recognition of divine orchestration builds faith and increases your willingness to trust guidance even when it contradicts logical analysis or popular opinion. You discover that following inner direction, even when it seems impractical, consistently produces better results than relying solely on human reasoning. Your financial life begins flowing with an ease and grace that amazes those who still struggle through willpower alone. Divine guidance and perfect timing serve as the master coordinators that integrate all other prosperity principles into harmonious action. Your spoken word gains precision when guided by divine wisdom. Resistance dissolves more easily when you trust perfect timing. Claiming your inheritance becomes more effective when you follow inspired steps. Faith and expectation strengthen when you witness divine orchestration. Consistent practice deepens when you experience the fruits of guided living. This integration creates what may be called effortless abundance, a state where financial good flows to you through channels so perfectly arranged that struggle becomes unnecessary. You find yourself in the right places at the right times, speaking the right words to the right people, taking actions that produce maximum results with minimum effort. This is not luck, but the natural result of aligning human consciousness with divine intelligence in the sacred dance of co-creation. When you consistently follow divine guidance in your financial affairs, you discover that inspired actions produce multiplied results far beyond what logic might predict. One guided phone call opens multiple opportunities. A single inspired decision influences several areas of your financial life. A moment of divine timing creates connections that benefit you for years to come. This multiplication occurs because guided actions align with the universal current of abundance rather than working against it. Like a skilled sailor who catches the wind rather than fighting it, you learn to move with the flow of divine intelligence, allowing its power to carry you swiftly toward your desired destinations. Your efforts become more effective because they are supported by the infinite resources of universal mind working on your behalf. The culmination of understanding divine guidance and perfect timing is the development of what may be called prosperity consciousness in action, a way of living where every decision, every word, every step flows from the awareness of your divine partnership with infinite supply. In this consciousness, financial stress dissolves because you know that perfect provision is always being arranged. Anxiety about timing disappears because you trust the wisdom of divine scheduling. Fear of lack evaporates because you recognize the unlimited resources available through guided cooperation with universal mind. Through the patient cultivation of sensitivity to divine guidance, the development of trust in perfect timing, and the consistent practice of inspired action, you step into the full expression of your role as a conscious co-creator with infinite intelligence. In this sacred partnership, your financial demonstrations become not achievements wrested from a reluctant universe, but gifts received from a loving intelligence that desires your complete prosperity and works continuously to manifest your highest good through the most perfect means available.